Welcome to Frank Buckley Interviews. Tonight, it's a conversation with singer, songwriter, and satirist Weird Al Yankovic.
Frank Buckley Interviews starts now.
Weird Al Yankovic's parodies of hit music have become hits themselves, with Weird Al Yankovic selling millions of albums in the process. He's a rock star in his own right, a rock star who wasn't exactly one of the popular kids growing up.
I sort of ate at the nerd table at lunch, but I didn't really find my people so much until maybe later on, like when I was in college.
My conversation with Weird Al Yankovic, including how musical artists react to his parodies, when we come back. Al, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Congratulations on the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I'm going to get deep into that in a second. And I know that your fans had a lot to do with making this happen. But I want to talk to you about where you came from.
Okay, I started out as an embryo, and it's a long story.
Not that far back.
Okay.
A little bit further down the road. So you grew up here in Southern California.
I did. Linwood.
Yeah. And
Straight out of Linwood, boy.
that's one of your great songs. And I read that you were 2 years behind some of your classmates in age.
I like to say ahead of them.
Right.
No, I what I did, I started kindergarten a year earlier than I was supposed to, apparently, and I skipped second grade into third grade. So as a result, I started high school when I was 12, and I graduated when I was 16.
Oh my goodness! And what does that do to you? When you're the young kid, when you're not developed or matured in many ways compared to your peers.
Well, it warps you. It's traumatic.
Right.
No, actually, it wasn't that big of a deal because I was already a prototypical nerd, and I was already pretty much socially ostracized, so it kind of didn't make any difference how old I was, because I was always going to stand out. I was always going to be kind of the nerdy freak. Although, I wasn't able to get a driver's license until about the time I was graduating from high school, so
Wow.
so I was never really part of the in crowd
Right.
in high school. But again, because I wasn't inclined to be much of a social animal anyway, it didn't make that much of a difference.
Really, why is that?
Because I'm a big nerd.
Did you find your nerd group, though? Did you have fellow nerds with whom you...
I suppose. I mean, not in a big sense, but I sort of ate at the nerd table at lunch. But I didn't really find my people so much until maybe later on, like when I was in college. It was sort of a better cross-section of humanity for me to find my people, and slowly I started doing that. But high school was kind of a lonely time because I did feel like I was kind of on my own.
Yeah, and people who go through experiences like that, especially when you talk to comedians, that fuels what they do. I mean, is it reading too much into it to say that contributed to your creativity or what you do today?
Oh, I think in a big way it did, yeah. I mean, when I write a song like White and Nerdy, I'm drawing from a lot of personal experience on that one. That took a lifetime's of research for that one song. Yeah, I mean, I think that informs a lot of the comedy. I think, any comedian draws on their childhood and their personal experiences, and that makes them part of what they are. And I think because I was such a good student, it made me very analytical. A lot of my songwriting is very precise and analytical, and I think that maybe is part of my upbringing and part of my education.
Yeah. What you do is such a talent, and I hope that everyone appreciates what you do. Certainly your fans do, but because you do two things. You not only do the music in a technical and precise and great way, but you also make it funny. I mean, at least in the parody stuff, and you do original songs as well. But
Well, that's hopefully funny too.
yeah, but it's really good, and I wonder, how did you marry those things, and was it the music that came first for you or the comedy?
It's hard to say. I mean, they both kind of came together for me very early on, and partly that might be because I grew up playing the accordion. My parents made that decision for me when I was very young, and when you play the accordion, again, you don't quite fit in with your friends. I tried to join rock bands when I was in my early teens, and nobody wanted an accordion player for some reason. So there was sort of a choice I had to make. Like, well, if I want to continue playing the accordion, I could either play like Italian weddings and bar mitzvahs, or I could go this other direction. And decided since nobody's going to take me seriously anyway, I might as well do comedy.
And did you get validated with your humor early? Did people say, hey, that's funny, you're talented? When did that start when did you come to that realization that, oh, this is good for me?
Well, the early validation came from the Dr. Demento show. I was a big fan of the show growing up. I was discovered it when I was maybe 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, okay, well, here's my people. I heard people like Spike Jones and Alan Sherman, Stan Freberg, Tom Lehrer, Zappa, Silverstein. I mean, all these wonderful people. And I thought, yeah, this is my kind of music. And I started sending in tapes in the mail. And when Dr. Demento started playing those tapes, I thought, well, maybe I've got something here.
Yeah, Dr. Demento had a nationally syndicated radio program. And I know because he was so important to you at that early moment in your life and career that he's part of this Walk of Fame ceremony for you. He's speaking. What does that mean to you that this person who this many years later is still part of your life, you're part of his life, you're forever connected?
Yeah, I mean, my life would be completely different if it hadn't been for Dr. Demento. It would have gone on a completely different trajectory, and I owe him my whole career basically, because if there was nobody else remotely like Dr. Demento, and he was my, there was no YouTube back then. There was no possible way that anybody would have played music by some kid recording songs in his bedroom with an accordion.
Yeah.
But Dr. Demento did, so
Right.
he changed my life. So it's kind of a nice full circle thing to have him there at the Walk of Fame ceremony, saying nice things about me.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself a performing artist, a singer, a composer, a comedian? How would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I'll hyphen it, all of the above. I I do everything just well enough to get by, and to do what I do. So yeah, I started out, as everybody does, as an amateur. I didn't know how to do anything, but I didn't let that stop me. I just did it. And it's the whole Malcolm Gladwell thing. You do something for 10,000 hours and you wind up being pretty good at it.
Right.
So, if you listen to my early recordings, some of the songwriting was pretty sophomoric, and my singing certainly left a lot to be desired. But I like to think that over the course of several decades, I've gotten to be okay with what I do.
Yeah. And do you still love doing this?
I do. It's still a thrill for me. I can't imagine anything else I'd rather be doing. I feel very blessed. Every morning I wake up and I still get to be Weird Al.
Yeah. When I hear a song, I may react to it on a sort of basic level. Oh, I like the beat. I enjoy that. My foot is tapping, whatever. When you hear a song for the first time, is there always that moment of, ooh, I can do something with that? Or do you listen to it just as a consumer of music like I listen to it?
Yeah, I turn that part of my brain off. It would drive me crazy if I could only listen to music and think, oh, what can I do with this one? So I love music. I listen quite a bit, and it's only on certain occasions where I go, I should write something new. What's out there? And then I again get kind of analytical about it and figure out what the targets would be and what my variations on a theme would be. But I certainly don't always listen to music going, oh, what am I going to do now?
So many people that I interview who are at the top of their game, as you are, they have an obsession, and it's an obsession with detail. They wake up thinking about it. They go to sleep thinking about it. They put in more work than the other people. Are you in that category, or are you one of those people who's like, I'm motivated today, but not tomorrow?
Well, both. I mean, I work very hard at what I do, and I'm very detail-oriented. I'm very hands-on when I'm directing videos. I mean, every little thing is figured out in advance. I mean, I've talked with people that I've worked with on video sets, and I kind of give them a book. Like, here's the video we're doing, and like every shot is like very well planned out. It's not like I get to the set and go, oh, what are we going to do today? Everything is very planned out in advance, and that's the kind of mind I have. But having said that, I'm not like that all the time, 24 hours a day. I don't wake up in the morning like figuring out like every specific detail of the day. But for projects like that, I get very into it.
Take me through the construction of a song, of a parody. Do you write the lyrics first, approach the artist? Do you think about it, approach the artist, and then write the lyrics? How does that work?
I write the entire song, and then I try to find out a music that would go with it. I wrote all of Eat It, and then I thought, no, what can I do with Eat It? Beat It!
Really?
No.
Oh, I thought, wow, how odd. What an amazing coincidence.
Yeah, well, that would be cool.
I'm gullible, I'm sorry.
No, obviously, I hear a song, and if I feel like it's, at the top of the zeitgeist, people are really into the song, I think, okay, what can I do with it? And then I come up with like 100 different ideas for the song. And out of those 100 ideas, if I'm lucky, maybe one will be worthwhile.
You mean thematically?
Thematically, yeah, because I go for the concept, the big concept, like what could I do with this song? Sometimes it's a pun on the title. Sometimes it's the ironic juxtaposition or something like that. But I come up with a title and a theme, and once I've got an idea for it, and I'm pretty good at knowing if an idea is going to translate well into a full song, or whether it's just like, oh, this is one joke and it's done. If I have an idea that I think is really good at that point, before I even write the lyrics, I'll tell my manager, look, here's my idea, here's my theme, go contact the artist and see if they're okay with it. Because I don't want to go through all because I spend a lot of time and effort, actually, even though these are ridiculous, goofy songs, I take it seriously. I spend a lot of time on it, and I don't want to go through all the trouble if the artist doesn't have a sense of humor, or is just going to say, yeah, I don't think so.
Right. And when you actually do when you come up with this theme, do you have a team that you say, or family members or friends who you say, what do you think of this? Or is it all just Weird Al?
It's mostly in my head, but if there's somebody in the room, I'll throw, hey, what do you think of this?
All right.
And they'll say, yeah, I'm not sure. And I'll go, well, what do you know?
Eat It was one of those songs that really, I mean, if there is a word such as crossover that really applies to your music, that one, everyone knew. Everyone saw that video.
And just eat it, don't you make me repeat it.
And I just wonder, when you went to Michael Jackson and said, I want to parody one of your greatest hits, how did he receive it? How did his management receive it? How did that go?
It went far better than I could have anticipated. I wasn't there when he was asked, but it went through all the proper channels. I told my manager I wanted to do it, and he approached somebody from the Michael Jackson camp, and we thought, well, we're never going to hear back from Michael Jackson because he was like Michael Jackson. He's like the most popular guy in the known universe right now. But within a couple of weeks, we actually heard back from Michael and saying that he'd love for me to do the parody, which kind of blew our minds because, at the time, I was I had one album out. I was a cult figure at best. Nobody knew who this Weird Al guy was. But Michael Jackson said, yeah, sounds great.
When you approach these artists and you say, look, I want to parody your song, I could see how some of them might say, wait a minute, dude, I don't think my song is funny. It's not meant to be parodied. Are you making fun of me as an artist and of my work?
Well, sometimes yes, but there are a few cases where it's more satirical than parody. When I did Lady Gaga, that was sort of a song about Lady Gaga. The
and it wasn't that initially. Didn't her management say no? And
that's correct.
And then she overruled them.
Yeah, they basically told me, oh, she doesn't want you to do that, and I said, really? And then when that got out, she was like, no.
Yeah, right.
I actually do want you to do it.
Yeah.
So there was that. I did a song about Achy Breaky Song. I did the Nirvana song was about the actual song. So there's a few cases where it is about the artist or the song.
Now I'm mumbling and I'm screaming and I don't know what I'm singing.
Most of the time, it's about something completely unrelated. And most artists actually have a really great sense of humor about it, especially at this point in my career. I've got a track record.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And people know that, I'm not there to make them look bad. It's not meant to be stepping on their toes. And in fact, for a lot of artists, it's a badge of honor. You've got your platinum album, you got a Grammy. Where's the Weird Al parody?
You're so big that Weird Al knows who you are and will parody your song.
Yeah.
The reaction to your songs, Kurt Cobain among those, the late Kurt Cobain, who apparently with the band, they all watched the song the first time, and what was their reaction?
What I heard back was that Kurt said he didn't realize he had made it until he saw the Weird Al parody, which is just pretty amazing. He wrote some very glowing and complimentary things about me in his personal journals. It kind of blows my mind. I mean, I'm a huge Nirvana fan. I thought Kurt was a genius, and it's just the fact that he had such a high opinion of me is amazing to me.
You've met so many famous people as a result of your music, and so many of them have said yes. Because I think some of us wondered, is he just doing it and then hoping for the best, or does he actually approach the artist? And I've learned that you approach the artist, and as you said, you did it through the proper channels.
I think most parody artists go through the forgiveness is better than permission school of thought, but I've always gotten permission first, and if they say no, which is actually really rare, then I'll just back away. But I've just felt that it's better not to burn bridges, not to offend people. If they don't have a sense of humor, or if they just don't like it, I'll come up with another idea with somebody else. I just I that's one of the reasons why maybe I've been able to hang around in this business so long, is I respect the artist's feelings.
You just said respect the artist, and I wonder, as you approach a parody, is that important to you that the artist doesn't feel offended or doesn't think that you're laughing at him or her?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a lot of maybe that does make me a good satirist, because some people are of the school of thought that, don't worry what people think, don't worry, if you're offending people, you just do your comedy. And that's kind of not the way I was raised, I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't want people being mad at me. I don't want people to be hurt or offended. I think that it's more of a challenge, I guess, to be funny without, making people upset.
Yeah. You mentioned how you were raised, your late parents. You've talked about the fact that their death was the hardest period of your life, to the extent that you want to share that. Can you tell me about that?
Well, it was the most painful experience of my life. Obviously, very traumatic, and it's a pain that I keep with me to this day. It never you don't get over it. It doesn't go away, but you just kind of learn to live with it. Every day I think about how much they would have enjoyed to watch my daughter growing up and share other things in my life. It's just it was a difficult thing, and it remains difficult.
Despite the sudden way in which they died, you continued performing. And I just wondered, was there a moment of thinking, I have to get off the road, I have to stop, I have to give myself time to grieve, or not? Or, you chose to continue going.
Well, I did. I would have rather not been performing during that time. I would have rather just slunk off and, be by myself and grieve quietly. But the fact was, I was in the middle of a major tour. And there were a lot of people counting on me. There was, I have a band and a crew that have made plans for that summer. Everybody that bought a ticket to the show made plans to be there at the show. And I just thought, I got to get through this. I got to fulfill my obligation. I've got to do what's right and respect all these other people. And at the same time, part of me was thinking, I had heard that my music had soothed a lot of other people going through traumatic experiences, and it brought them some joy. And I thought, well, maybe my music can do the same for me. We'll see.
Did it?
In a way, yeah, because I really felt the support of the fans, and part of me wanted to keep the whole thing a secret. I didn't want people to know what was going on in my life, because I didn't want people to come to my shows going, oh, poor Al, But the same day, it became worldwide news, and it's sort of like, well, it's not a secret, obviously. So everybody knew coming to the shows, and it was still a fun, I hope, comedy show, but I definitely felt a huge outpouring of love from the fans, which definitely kind of helped me get through it.
That's one thing that is so true about you as an artist and as a person, is your fan base. Your fans have an enthusiasm for you that many other artists and performers don't enjoy. They will support you through everything, and as a result, you've had so many, you've sold, is it 13 million albums?
Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere north of that. And what does that mean to you, that these fans have stuck with you from day one and continue to be with you to this day?
It's an amazing thing. It's a lot of fans have been with me since the very beginning. And the cool thing about my career was every album that I put out, it felt like a new generation discovered me. Like even with my last album, I hear about like 12-year-olds telling their parents, "Hey, I found this guy Weird Al Yankovic. You ever hear of him?" Like, yeah, we know him. But it's really cool. And if you go to any of my concerts, it's really a multi-generational fan base. I mean, literally, it's people, little kids, college kids, middle age, elderly. I mean, they're all there, and they're all maybe enjoying it on a different level, but they're all having a good time, which is amazing.
These fans of yours, your star on the Walk of Fame largely is happening because of your fans.
Oh, 100%.
100% happening. They campaigned for you.
Yeah.
They've campaigned for years for you. At a certain point, they raised enough money to get you that star.
The fans absolutely made that happen, and I often say that while having a star would be nice, just the simple fact that I have fans out there that would go through that kind of time and trouble and energy to do something crazy like that. I mean, that's what's important to me. That means the world to me.
Is there any moment that you will think about retiring?
I don't want to retire. I mean, I've slowed down. I don't release material as quickly as I used to. But I don't ever really feel like I want to retire because I love doing what I do so much. There's no reason why I would want to stop doing what I love.
Al, this has really been fantastic, and congratulations on the star.
Thank you so much.
And for an amazing career and life, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
All right. My thanks again to Weird Al Yankovic for a terrific conversation. If you'd like to hear the entire uncut version of our conversation, check out the Frank Buckley Interviews podcast. It's available on Google Play and iTunes and at the KTLA News app or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for the feedback on social media. If you'd like to join the conversation, tag me at Frank Buckley TV on Twitter and Instagram, or drop a comment on the Frank Buckley Facebook page. If you'd like to share this TV show with friends around the world, check us out on YouTube. Just search for Frank Buckley Interviews Weird Al Yankovic. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.